All right, everyone. Hello. We are out here in Chicaché today in our wheat variety trials, and we will talk about some of the varieties that we have planted here in the trials this year. And first of all, I wanted to thank Oklahoma State Wheat Commission for their support with our research, with the trials, wheat farmers for their checkoff dollars, and also a special thanks to our South Central Station for helping us with managing the trials. With that, let's just get started. Okay, so here we are with Duster. Duster is a well-known variety. It's a pretty old also. It's been released in 2006. It's well known for its great recovery to grazing, excellent forage production. Also, it's a variety that is resistant to Hessian fly. It has an excellent resistance to leaf rust. And it is moderately susceptible to stripe rust, tan spot, and septoria. So as I mentioned, it's a variety that is being released quite years ago, so there might be better varieties out there. Gallagher, it's a very good yield variety, also good grazing variety. It has a good forage production. It has a leaf rust resistance, Hessian fly resistance. It's moderately susceptible to tan spot. It is also on the early side of maturity, so we have that first hollow stem that it's on the early side, so you can't graze it for too long if you're under a dual purpose system. It is tolerant to acid soil, but it's susceptible to lodging. And here in this trial this year, we are seeing some lodging and also possible freeze damage as we see some white heads, and that can be because of when it had it and when the last freezing temperatures occurred. Here is Ruby Lee. It's a variety that has good yield potential, good forage production, great recovery after grazing. It's widely adopted in Oklahoma. It's moderately resistant to leaf rust, but it is extremely susceptible to stripe rust. And we are seeing here at this time now in the plots is increasing the stripe rust pressure, especially on this variety. It's on the medium side of maturity. It's susceptible to acid soils and also has a poor lodging tolerance. And we are seeing here a little bit of lodging in the plots. It has an above average protein, good milling and baking quality. And as I mentioned, the stripe rust can be a tricky thing with this variety, so you need to manage with fungicide if stripe rust pressure is high. Here we have Bentley. Bentley has a good forage production, excellent recovery after grazing. One of the typical things with this variety is the color of the head. You can see that jointed goat grass color, very bright green. This year we are seeing some of septoria up in the flag leaf, and so you're seeing some of that disease pressure here, also finding some stripe rust. So this variety is intermediately resistant to stripe rust, so it's not huge pressure, but we are seeing some. Also, it's on the early side of heading, and it has a late first hollow stem, has a good acid soil tolerance, good lodging tolerance, and just one of the things that it's a little bit of concern with this variety, it's the below average test weight. Here we have Double Stop CL+. Double Stop is a good yielding variety, has a good forage production, good quality, so it's a great combination of all those aspects. It has a great disease resistance package with a combination of resistance against leaf rust and stripe rust. Has good tolerance to acid soils, to lodging, and also to drought. It's on the late side of maturity. It has a late first hollow stem, late heading, and as I mentioned, is a good quality variety. One of the things is that producers can't save the seeds, and you may also increment a little bit with the cost of the seeds and the chemical if needed. Here we have Smith's Gold. Smith's Gold is it has an excellent yield potential and good forage production. It resembles Gallagher. And it's widely adopted in Oklahoma, and as I said, it resembles Gallagher with an equal or better yield, but Smith's Gold has a better quality. So it's also resistance to Hessian fly. It has resistance to green bug and to early season stripe rust, and it's also moderately resistant to leaf rust. So it's tolerant to acid soils. It has a good straw strength, and its maturity, it's also early, but it gives a little bit more days than Gallagher to the first hollow stem. That's what we have seen in our trials. So it does well in low nitrogen as compared to Gallagher, and it has a good milling and baking quality. But it does need fungicide if 10 spot and leaf rust pressure is high. Here we have Showdown. Showdown has a very high yield ceiling, and it's also under grain only and under dual purpose systems. It's widely adopted in Oklahoma. It has a broad disease resistance package, including resistance to stripe rust and Hessian fly. It's moderately susceptible to leaf rust and powdery mildew. It's on the mid side of maturity with a mid first hollow stem. It's moderately tolerant to acid soils. It has a good lodging strength. Although this year we are seeing a little bit of lodging here, nothing too severe, but we are seeing some. It's a variety that is known to be tolerant in low nitrogen soils, so a high NUE variety. It has good milling and baking qualities, and so it does benefit from fungicide if leaf rust is high. Another thing is this variety may have a conservative forage production, and so it may benefit from bumping that seeding rate. Okay, so here we have Green Hammer. Green Hammer is a high forage and high yielding variety. It's considered a low maintenance variety. So its disease resistance package is great, with a great combination of resistance against stripe rust and leaf rust. It's this year we are seeing some 10 spot and septoria in no-till systems. So it's on the early side of maturity. It's very tolerant against acid soils. It has a good lodging strength. It has a high protein, milling and baking quality. It's really good. It does well if it's planted early or if it's planted late. It has a good test weight, and it can lean also in high nitrogen situations. Baker's End, it's a high yielding variety. It has a premium dough strength, so as the name says, it's good for those high-speed baking industry. It is resistant to stripe rust. It's moderately resistant to leaf rust, and it's on the weak side of so it's a little bit susceptible to powdery mildew and Hessian fly. It's early on its first hollow stem and very early heading. It's tolerant to acid soils, has a good straw strength, and it has also good test weight. So it's a great combination of yield and quality variety. Although this variety will benefit from fungicide if leaf rust pressure is high. Here we have Skydance. Skydance is a high yielding variety in forage production. It has an excellent dough strength. It's adapted to the central Oklahoma, and it can be also for organic systems. Also, it's a variety that can be planted late. It's resistant to stripe rust, moderately resistant to leaf rust, and it's also moderately resistant to 10 spot. But it is susceptible to Hessian fly. It's on the very early side of first hollow stem, and it's early on heading. It's recommended more for grain-only systems, though. It's very tolerant to acid soils. It's on the below average of lodging tolerance, so it can lean. Overall, it has a premium quality, good test weight, drought tolerant, and also does well in low nitrogen conditions. It's better if it's kept down state of Oklahoma because it has a below average winter hardness. And also it has demonstrated to be a little weak after weak on the grazing tolerance after pull-off. So as I mentioned, it's more for grain-only systems. So here we have OK Corral. OK Corral, it's the newest release from OSU. It is a beardless wheat. It does well under grain-only, under dual-purpose systems. It can also be used for hay. It has a great disease resistance package, including Hessian fly, leaf rust, stripe rust, tan spot, septoria, powdery mildew. It's moderately susceptible to BYD, barley yellow dwarf. On the mid side of maturity, so mid first hollow stem, it is tolerant to acid soils, very good straw strength, and it also has a good tolerance to low nitrogen. So it has shown an average protein, and it is considered a low maintenance variety. So on the forage side, forage production, we are still learning about it because in some locations it hasn't shown to be so aggressive on the forage production. So we are still learning about it because in some years it has showed some good forage production. So we will see more data about this this year. Here we have variety from Westbred, WB4269. It's a very good yielding variety. It's adapted to the central and east part of Oklahoma. It has a good disease resistance package, including the combination of resistance against leaf rust and stripe rust. Also, it's moderately resistant against scab. So it's moderately susceptible to Hessian fly and tan spot. It's on the early side of first hollow stem, and it has shown moderately tolerance to acid soils, a good tolerance against lodging. It's a variety that has shown a high tillering potential and stay green. It has a good test weight, and it has shown to break dormants well. You will see that it has like an erect growth habit. So if you plant it in narrow rows, it may help you to cover that ground faster. Okay, another Westbred variety, so we have WB4515. This variety has a great yield potential, and baking and milling quality is really good. It's also adapted to the east side of Oklahoma. It has a good forage production, but we have seen more on its slow emergence variety. So it is intermediately resistant to stripe rust, and we are seeing here some low pressure of stripe rust in the flag leaf. And so it's also resistant to tan spot and septoria, and it's moderately susceptible to leaf rust. It's on the mid-late side of heading and mid-early side of first hollow stem. So it's moderately tolerant to acid soils. It has a good lodging tolerance, very good test weight, high tillering variety. It has more like a prostrate growth habit. So it covers the ground really fast. Also high protein. And just one of the things is that this variety will benefit from fungicide applications if leaf rust and also powder mildew pressure is high. So here is another Westbred variety, so WB4699. It's a variety that has a high yield potential. It is its second year in the trial, so we will know more about it at the end of this season. It has shown an average forage production, but as I mentioned, we are still learning about it. We'll know better soon. It has a good disease resistance package against leaf rust and intermediate resistance against stripe rust. We are seeing some septoria, or what we call leaf spotters, up in the flag leaf in this variety this year. It's also, this variety is on the mid to late side of maturity, excellent lodging tolerance. It's a short variety, as you can see. It has a good test weight and good protein, and it may benefit from nitrogen to maximize that protein. So here we have also another West bred variety, so WB4792. It's a very high yielding variety and also has a very good milling and baking quality. It is its second year in our trial, so we will know more about it by the end of the season. It has a good forage production. It has also good disease resistance package against leaf rust, stripe rust, Hessian fly, and also with streak mosaic. One of the things we found this year is that this variety is susceptible to soil-borne mosaic. It's on the mid to late side of maturity. It has a very good lodging tolerance, very good test weight. Okay, so here WB4595, it is a variety that has shown an excellent yield potential and test weight. It has a good forage production. It's intermediately resistant to leaf rust, stripe rust. It's also on the mid side of maturity. It is susceptible to acid soils. It has a good lodging strength, good tillering capacity. So it has shown a good fall coverage, and also it's tolerant to drought. And it is a variety that is recommended to be kept more on the west side of Oklahoma. WB4401, it's also one of the new releases from West bred. It is its first year in our trial. We didn't get a chance to look at the forage production this year of this variety, so we may know better about it next year. It is intermediately resistant to stripe rust and septoria. Septoria is showing, but a very low pressure now. It's on the medium side of maturity, and as I said, we are still learning about it. We will have more information about this variety by the end of the season. Okay, so let's just take a look at varieties from AgriPro. So we have SY Achieve CL2. It's a variety that has a good yield and forage potential. It's more targeted for central and north central of Oklahoma. And this variety has the 2 genes herbicide tolerance for the Clearfield system. So it's, as I said, it has a good forage production. It's resistant to stripe rust, but it's susceptible to leaf rust. It has a very early first hollow stem. It's tolerant to acid soils, and it's moderately tolerant to acid soils, and it's also moderately tolerant to lodging. So it has a very good test weight, good baking and milling quality, and it will benefit from fungicide if leaf rust pressure is high. Here, another variety from AgriPro. So we have SY Rugged. It's a high yielding variety adapted across central and western areas. It has a good forage production, great disease resistance package with a combination against stripe rust and leaf rust. It's moderately susceptible to 10 spot and septoria on the mid to early side of first hollow stem. It is tolerant to acid soils and moderately tolerant to lodging. It has a very good test weight, and it's drought tolerant. Here, another variety from AgriPro. We have SY Benefit. This variety it has shown good yield, also adapted to the central and eastern regions. We have seen an average forage production. Also, its resistance to septoria, 10 spot, and also moderately resistant to stripe rust. It's susceptible to leaf rust and moderately susceptible to powder mildew. It has a very early first hollow stem and early heading. It's tolerant to acid soils. It has an average lodging score. So we are seeing here this year some lodging in the plots, and so which it aligns with its score. It also has a good test weight. good milling and baking quality, and it may benefit from fungicide if leaf rust pressure is high. Also, another variety here from AgriPro, we have Bob Doe. So Bob Doe has shown a very high yielding ceiling variety. It's targeted for the central corridor of Oklahoma. It has done really well here in the trials, especially under intensive management systems. It has a quick start, quick fall pasture formation. Its disease resistance package is really good, so it has that combination of resistance against leaf rust, stripe rust, 10-spot septoria. It's susceptible to hash and fly and with streak mosaic. It's on the mid side of maturity. It's tolerant to acid soils. It has a good lodging tolerance. It's a fairly tall variety. It has a good test weight, good baking quality, drought tolerant variety, and it may lean if you are in situations, in very high yielding situations, above 80 bushels or so. So overall, it has done really well here in the trials, especially last year. So here we have another variety from AgriPro. So we have AP Everrock. It is its first year in our trial, so we are still learning about it. It has shown in our forage trials, it has shown average forage production. It's moderately resistant to barley yellow dwarf. It is tolerant to acid soils. It has a good lodging strength. And we are seeing here some septoria up in the flag leaf, but overall we are learning about this variety, and we will know more about it at the end of the season. So here we have varieties from Kansas Wheat Alliance. So we have Zenda. Zenda has a good yield potential. It's more adapted to the northern Oklahoma. It has shown a below average forage production. It's intermediately resistant to stripe rust, also to leaf rust, and it also shows an intermediately resistance to septoria. It's on the mid-early side of maturity. It's tolerant to acid soils. It has an excellent lodging tolerance. It has an improved quality over Everest, and it can be moderately susceptible to drought. Another variety here from Kansas, so we have KS Dallas. It's its first year in our trial, so we are still learning about it. It seems to have a high yield potential. It's more adapted to the northwestern areas of Oklahoma and Panhandle. It has shown good forage production, also a strong disease resistance package against leaf rust, with streak mosaic, and intermediate resistance against stripe rust. It's on the early side of first hollow stem and has a medium heading maturity. It's susceptible to acid soils. It has a moderate strength or lodging tolerance. So it has shown an average test weight, good baking and milling quality. It is susceptible to soil-borne mosaic virus, and that's why it should be out there in the Panhandle. So here we have another variety from Kansas. So we have KS Western Star. So it is its first year also in our trials, so we're still learning about it. It has shown good yield potential in other trials, and also, as the name says, it's a Western Star, so it's more adapted to the northwestern areas of Oklahoma and Panhandle. So it has shown good forage production, but it's more like recommended for a grain-only systems. It has intermediate resistance against stripe rust. Also, it's resistant to leaf rust. Also, it's susceptible to hash and fly and to wheat streak mosaic. but this variety does have resistance against the wheat curl mite, which gives it a chance in situations where it gives it a chance against the wheat streak mosaic virus. So it's a fairly late variety. So we are seeing now they're just coming out of the boot, while we have here some varieties that antithesis are way ahead at heading. So it's a fairly late variety. It's susceptible to acid soils. It has a very good lodging tolerance and also has shown average protein. So here we have KS Silverado. It's also its first year in our trials. So it's a white wheat. It has a broad adaptation to central and west areas of Oklahoma. It has a good forage production, but it is recommended for grain-only systems. So it has a good disease resistance package. It's moderately resistant against stripe rust and leaf rust. Also, it's moderately susceptible to powdery mildew. It's on the mid-early side of maturity. It's moderately tolerant against acid soils, or moderately tolerant to acid soils. It has a very good lodging tolerance. It is also good, it has a good pre-harvest sprouting tolerance, and overall has a very good disease resistance package. Here we have varieties from Lima Grain. So LCS Chrome, it's a good yielding variety and also good yielding variety under grazing. It's broadly adapted in Oklahoma under irrigation and under dry land. It has a good forage production. Disease resistance package is great, especially with the combination of resistance against leaf rust and stripe rust. It is also on the late side of maturity, as you can see here. It's just now coming out, the head's just now coming out. It's tolerant to acid soils. It has an excellent straw strength, so it has a medium height. It's a variety with a medium height. It has a good protein, good test weight, and this variety it does better if it's planted on time. Here we have another variety from Lima Grain, LCS Photon AX. It's one of the coaxium varieties from Lima Grain. So it has that 2-gene resistance against the aggressor herbicide. It has a good forage production. It's on the medium side of maturity. It's on the mid-early side of first hollow stem. It has a very good test weight. It is a fairly tall variety, so it's better in situations of or in areas or in low rainfall areas. So because it's very prone, it can be prone to lodging, and we are seeing some lodgings here back in the plot. It has a good grain quality and protein overall. So and also producers are not allowed to save the seeds of this variety. Another variety here from Lima Grain, we have T173, and you can see here is a variety that is beardless. So it's marketed as a forage wheat. So it has, it's its first year in our trials, so we are still learning about it. It has shown an average forage production in our forage trials. Also showed a very late first hollow stem in both locations of our trials, including here in Chickasha. It's a fairly tall variety. It has a prostrate growth, and it's good for winter grazing. Here varieties from AgSeco, Texas A&M. So we have TAM 114 or TAM 114. It's a variety that is recommended more for the west of Oklahoma and Panhandle. It has shown an average forage production. It's resistant to both leaf rust and stripe rust, great combination, but it's susceptible to wheat streak mosaic and soil-borne mosaic viruses. It has an early first hollow stem. It's tolerant to acid soils. It has a very good lodging tolerance. Has a good test weight, milling and baking quality as well, and also very good dough strength. So it's a very high tillering variety, but the forage production hasn't been the highest in our trials in the past years. Here, another variety from Texas, we have Ag Icon. It's a variety that has a very good yield potential, good forage production. It's resistant against leaf rust, and also is resistant against certain types or certain races of stripe rust. It's on moderately early side maturity. It has a good acid soil tolerance, good lodging tolerance. It has a good tillering capability and good baking and milling quality. Okay, so here we have a variety from Plains Gold, Colorado, Langing. This variety is more recommended for grain-only systems. So it's moderately resistant to stripe rust, and it has a late first hollow stem and early heading. It's moderately tolerant to acid soils and also has a below average lodging tolerance. And we are seeing here this year some lodging back here in the end of the plot. It has a drought tolerance, and also it's a variety with resistance to the wheat curl mite, which also gives it a chance against the wheat streak mosaic virus. And it has a good test weight and good baking and milling quality. So this variety, as it can lean, producers may consider plant growth regulator if they're in situations of very high yielding, like above 90 bushels or so. Consider plant growth regulator to avoid that lodging. Also here from Plains Gold, we have Canvas. This variety, it's more suited for western areas. It's a good yielding variety. It's also recommended for grain-only systems. It's resistant to stripe rust, wheat streak mosaic, and to the soil-borne mosaic viruses. It's also on the medium side of maturity. It has an excellent lodging tolerance, has good drought tolerance as well, good test weight, good protein, good baking and milling quality. So it's a variety that it is a good candidate for intensive management systems because of its excellent straw strength. Also here, another variety from Plains Gold. This is a coaxium variety, so Crescent AX. It's also it's tolerant to the aggressor herbicide. It's a variety that is recommended for grain-only systems, also more adapted to the western areas. We don't have much information on its acid soil tolerance and lodging tolerance, but we are seeing some lodging here this year in the trial. It's on the medium early side of maturity. It has shown a very high yield potential in our trials in Goodwill. It has a good end-use quality and test weight, and producers are not allowed to save the seed of this variety. Also, another variety here from Plains Gold, we have Guardian. This variety, one of the main things of it, it's combined resistance against the wheat curl mite and the wheat streak mosaic. So it gives an excellent protection against the wheat streak mosaic virus. It has a good protein, test weight, milling and baking quality. And as I said, strong wheat streak mosaic resistance. And we are still learning about it, on its yield potential and everything, but it has shown to do well, good yielding variety in our trials. Here, let's take a look at varieties from Agri-Max. So here we have Eastwood. So this is this second year of this variety in our trials. So we will know more about it by the end of this season as well. But it has shown a high yield potential, average forage production. So it is a variety that is intermediately resistant against stripe rust, also barley yellow dwarf. It's on the susceptible side of leaf rust and moderately susceptible to powdery mildew. Early first hollow stem and heading. It has a good acid soil tolerance. It's moderately tolerant against lodging. It has a good test weight and protein, and it does respond well to intensive management. Okay, so another variety here from Agri-Max, we have AM Cartwright. This variety entered our trials first time last year as an experimental line, and but we are still learning about it. We don't have much information about it. We have seen overall average forage production in our trials. We don't have much information on the disease resistance, but we are seeing it's very clear, clean right now. We are not seeing much disease pressure in the leaves right now. We are guessing here very good disease resistance package. Also, we know it has a good quality. It's looking good in our trials, and we will know more about it by the end of the season. So here we have varieties from Crop Plan. So here we have CP7869. So it is its second year in our trials. So what we are seeing here, it's an average forage production. It has a great combination of resistance against leaf rust and stripe rust. It's on the mid to late side of maturity. So we are seeing here that some heads are just now coming out. It has a very good lodging strength, straw strength or lodging tolerance. It has a good test weight, and it's more susceptible to drought. Here we have also another variety from Crop Plan, CP7909. It is the second year of this variety in our trials, and this variety has shown an average forage production on the mid side of maturity, mid first hollow stem. Has a good lodging tolerance, high protein, and has shown a high response to nitrogen and fungicide. Especially last year in our trials, it has shown a good response to our intensive management. So which means that this variety will benefit from management against fungal diseases. Here also from Crop Plan we have CP7010. It is its first year in our trial, so we are still learning about it. We don't have a whole lot of information about it right now. It's looking good in our trials. We are finding some septoria up in the flag leaf, not a very high pressure right now, but overall is looking good, and we'll have more data about it by the end of the season. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for sticking with us until the end, listening about all the varieties. We hope you find this very useful to help you make your variety selection for next season. For more information, check our website wheat.okstate.edu, and we will post the yield results there from this season, and we have all results from last season. Thank you.